accept your self-love? Are you accepting your self-love? That is the question, because it's going beyond now the self-love. Like, we're aware, yes, we have to love ourselves. We have to be ourselves unapologetically. We have to thrive. We have to be just amazing beings, light sources, co-creating with the universe and all that is. But the thing is, we can proclaim self-love and we can deem ourselves to be of the essence of self-love as much as we want. But the question of the real truth of the matter is, are we really accepting our own self-love? We're so programmed. We're so programmed. We're so programmed. Why are we so programmed, you ask? 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 It's the music. It's the food. It's the water. It's the sources of our creation, the stimulation of our minds that we attach ourselves with to believe in these conceptualized beliefs. Music is the structure of our foundation. Music, television, programming. We're so programmed. Will you break the program? We're going to change the conceptualized belief of these structures, because these structures were never meant for us to live by. They were meant for us to break. Are you ready to break the structures? Let's start by coming out of this. Let's start by removing the filters and start loving ourselves. Let's start by removing the layers and pounds upon pounds of layers of makeup and hair and extensions and nails and things that really don't define us. Let's start with taking back our power with loving ourselves exactly as we are and embracing the elements that we can add in addition, but not requiring them, not letting those be the definition of who we are. Let's start there.
This is not a test. I repeat. This is not a test. This is not a test. I repeat. This is not a test. You are entering Tara's terrestrial aura. Are you ready? I repeat. This is not a test. This is not a test.
Hey YouTube Solar family, just stopping in for a little transmission on this day. I'm trying to do this whole timeless thing for a little bit, so I'll go back to saying the days of each planet that we're on in another momentum of now. But for now, and this here and now of this momentum in which we are in, I'm not doing that. So I'm just on a little midheaven ride, and I wanted to come on and share some thoughts of matter that I feel are of consciousness that are worth being formed and shared to my lovely light beings and my lovely beings that don't want to be identified as light beings. Maybe you just want to be identified as yourself and no other thing or no thing or whatever it may be. However you identify, I love you and I'm grateful that you're here. So thank you for being here. Okay, so the topic of discussion at hand today is loving ourselves. And it goes beyond loving ourselves this time, as I thank the universe and all that is for giving me the beauty and love and luxury of being able to exist so close and on top of my midheaven. I am grateful, I am honored, and I thank God and all that is. Okay, just had to do that little thanking session because I'm so grateful for all that is, and I feel like that's one of the things that I'm actually going to talk about. So hey, okay, so self-love is one thing, but are you able to accept your self-love? Are you accepting your self-love? That is the question, because it's going beyond now the self-love. Like, we're aware, yes, we have to love ourselves, we have to be ourselves unapologetically, we have to thrive, we have to be just amazing beings, light sources, co-creating with the universe and all that is. But the thing is, we can proclaim self-love and we can deem ourselves to be of the essence of self-love as much as we want. But the question of the real truth of the matter is, are we really accepting our own self-love? Are we accepting our own self-love? And what does that look like for you? What does that look like for each of us as we accept or either decline, deny our self-love? What is the value that we're holding for ourselves? What is the coherence of our thoughts that we are listening to and interesting or interpreting and understanding and understanding to be able to better fuel our own momentums and to be our own biggest fans? Are you being your biggest fan? Are you doing the things it takes to be able to uplift you, to fan your flames, to be the light of your fire? Are you igniting yourself? Or are you just putting yourself out? Are you extinguishing yourself? Because even though you're claiming self-love, or maybe you're not claiming self-love, maybe you have no pull on that horse. I don't even know if that's a thing to say, but it is now. But maybe you're not even claiming self-love, and that's okay. But if you are claiming self-love, how are you accepting it? That is the question. Like, how are you accepting it? What are you doing for yourself to be able to show yourself that expression of love for yourself? What are you doing for yourself to be able to ignite that internal flame that just like has passion burning within you? Are you acting on your passions? Are you fanning the fire of it to be able to get it to just like fuel itself so much to where there's no thing that can stop you? Or are you letting your own self stop you? Calling it self-love, identifying it as self-love, when really it could be a bit of self-destruction or self-hate. So often we do these things to ourselves and we question, like, why do people do this, or why do people do that, or why is this, or why is that, or why is this, or why is that? And we ask all these questions, but the thing is, it's not about asking these questions. It's not about being of anything of matter to anyone else. That's not what it really is. It's a matter of being so confident within yourself that you're uplifting yourself and that you're believing in yourself that you are your biggest fan. And I'll go back to that, because a fan is also something that fans a fire. It's something that is able to help you extend yourself outwards, not put yourself out. Because there are ways, yes, the fan can also blow something out if the flame is not big enough. If you're fanning your own fire, but your fire is barely even a match, you're not going to make it. Your fan has outdone your fire, and you have just like felt in your flames. You put yourself out. And that's the thing, we do it so often. We put ourselves out. Why are we putting ourselves out? Is it because we live in a society that has taught us to not believe in ourselves? Is it because we've lived in a society and we've been programmed to be able to think a certain way and understand that things have to be in a set genre or a set standard or a set acknowledgement or a set recognition or a set tone or a set vibration or a set energy or a set. That's the thing, the set. Something set to something, like we're set in stone, like a Saturn. We're just set in it. We're like dead on it. Nothing can change. It's a structure. It's a system that we have to live by. Why do we have to live by it? Are you asking yourself these questions? Why do you have to feel the way that you feel whenever you're doing things that are maybe self-sabotaging? Why do you have to feel the way that you feel whenever you're questioning yourself and you're asking yourself if you're worthy of the things that you're supposed to be receiving, or that you are receiving, or that you may receive, or that you're open to receive, or that you want to receive? Because whenever we question ourselves and we throw that doubt out at the universe throws that doubt back at us, and it's like, okay, well then show me that you want it. Because if you're questioning it, why should I believe it? The universe will literally ask us that without asking us that. It happens through the actions of our momentums, of our nows, because the universe will be like, okay, you're questioning your power. You don't even know how strong you are, so why should I believe in you if you don't believe in yourself? Because the universe is always going to believe in you, but the universe is going to make sure that you do too. Because if you don't, then it can't fully give you what you're asking for. It can't, or it can, but it's going to give you what you're asking for in that sense of self-doubt and lack. But if you're asking in a way of like, I am this, I know I'm worthy of this, I accept this, I'm grateful, as if I have received it, I feel it, because I am so just engulfed in the flames of all that is of it, because it has become me, it's a part of me, it's a part of my higher source self. When we get to that level, the universe starts to listen because it takes a note. It's like, I feel it in her frequency. I hear it in her frequency. I hear it in her tone. This is actually of her vibration. This is what they want. This is not her always, because I'm just referring to her because I'm me here. It's like the universe picks up the algorithm of your frequency tune, and it knows that you're not just saying it. You're not just lying to the universe. You believe in what you're asking for. You believe in what you are. You believe in what you're standing for. You're no longer questioning or doubting things because you see yourself in the light in which you've always been meant to see yourself in. You see yourself in the light of understanding how much you are worthy, how much you are valued, how much you are capable, how much you are free, how much you are an abundant gift of source self-life in itself, of just living the expression of life as itself. You start to see your greatness. You start to see your power. You start to see your worth. You start to see your value. And when you see these things, it's not something that can go unseen. And the universe sees things beyond our seen. So when the universe sees it, the universe is like, okay, I'm going to work with you because you're working with me. Whenever you start exploring yourself, like the energies, for instance, like astrology, natal charts, things like that, we can look into ourselves to be able to kind of get a key code, to be able to understand how we can work with ourselves to be able to reach our highest points. And whenever we start to work with ourselves rather than against ourselves, the universe is going to take notice. So ask yourself today and every day, am I working with my self-love, or am I working against my self-love? Or am I self-sabotaging? Am I self-loving fully? Am I accepting my self-love? Am I accepting my self-love? And if this question comes to you without a direct answer of reassurance and knowing 100% that you are not, then I challenge you to ask yourself every single day until you do feel that way, until you have that feeling of inner knowing so much to where there's nothing that can sway you from understanding and knowing that you do value your self-love and you are accepting your self-love because you are a reflection, living, breathing, and accepting all of the self-love in which you are, because you are the embodiment of love itself as yourself. Love. Hey loves, welcome to my channel. So I just wanted to stop in before the video and just kind of give some acknowledgement to a topic that I'll be extending more on in the future as we progress. This topic is how we are bred, how we are pretty much programmed, brainwashed to believe as women that we require a counterpart, or that we require someone to be able to take care of us, or that we have to fall onto, back to be able to hold our own ground. And how this has been something that's been instilled in us since such an early age. So I've taken some suggestions of songs by some beautiful beings that are on my Twitter account after asking a question of some song recommendations of songs that were like 90s to early 2000s that kind of like depowered the woman, that took our energy and kind of like put it into a box to make it almost to where we required a counterpart. So I'm going to actually go down and speak on each of these songs of the suggestions that I found the most correlating with the topic. So that is what I'll be doing in this video. We're going to discuss all kinds of things that really don't fit our molding anymore, that we need to grow out of and that we need to release from our system, because the system that we've grown up in and the system that we've been a part of has been so toxic for so long, and we've just let it embed into our beings and let it breed into our vessels to become something that we are moving out of. So for us not to see these songs as representations of like how we're told and how we're just kind of like expected to be as women, I think that that's crazy. So I actually want to make this series contribute to that, to be able to help us realize the awakening that we are finding within ourselves, and seeing how we've been so programmed from the music, from the television, through so many different siphons of our energy over time, and how we can break these habitual habits, how we can break these standards, how we can break these social norms that aren't so normal. Because what is normal? What is normalcy in a world where everyone is so uniquely ourselves. So that is definitely a topic that I think that we need to just dive in head first and just see what we find. So I'll be examining a song every episode, and we will just kind of dive into the lyrics and interpret those lyrics. And I would love your feedback, your comments, and anything that you may have that you want to contribute to be able to exemplify the significance of what these songs held for you as a child, maybe as your youth, or maybe you were older, or maybe you have your own songs. Any recommendations are highly appreciated. I'm going to nitpick and examine so many different songs and so many different things of our society, because one thing that we need to do, and I don't say need lightly, because there's nothing that we absolutely need to do that I could ever say that someone needs to do that I have not done for myself, because I don't feel like that is something in my right to say. No one needs anything or should do anything. However, in this situation, society, we need to break these molds, these standards, these loopholes, and these loops that we keep falling into like a black hole, because we see that that is what we're told to be. We don't require anyone. We require our own selves. We require our self-love. And once we reach that, we don't need these songs that are literally begging for a partner to love us, begging for someone to notice us, begging to be a fool for love. Why are we needing to be a fool for love? Why can't we be a fool for ourselves? Because we're so deep in our own self-love that we just exhibit that through the actions of our regular state. So, yeah. Welcome to this new series. I'm excited to roll out, and let's examine music. So one of the songs that kind of led me to this portal was the Carnigans' Loveful. And I don't know what made me like re-listen to this song to even think about this at all. But just to give an example, the lyrics, the actual chorus of this song are love me, say that you love me, fool me, go on and fool me, love me, pretend that you love me, leave me, just say that you'll need me. I cry and I beg for you to love me, say that you love me, leave me, say that you need me. I don't care about anything but you. So if that's not a prime example of the deterioration of the woman at youth, I think back to this song, and I was like a young child, and I loved the movie Clueless, and so did my sister, so we watched it often. And I think about how that was such a movie that I loved, and so many parts of it that I thought were so awesome and I kind of looked up to as a child. And you think about it now and you listen to the music and the lyrics that we're like feeding ourselves, and how that's literally like programming us and brainwashing us to feel as if we require someone, or that we need someone outside of ourselves to justify our own justification. So that's what led me into this, and yeah, so let's explore some more songs. All right, I love you so much, and I thank you for being here. I ask that you please like, subscribe, and share, or comment to my channel. I value you so much. I love you, and I hope that you're loving you too fully. We all have our weaknesses, we all have our points, we all have our things, so let's embrace those things by loving ourselves fully, no matter what they are. I'll talk to you soon.